H.P. Lovecraft by Delaney Caggiano. H.P. Lovecraft was an American author who was known for his significant work in horror fiction. He lived from 1890 to 1937. Lovecraft was born in Providence, Rhode Island, where he lived most of his life until his death at age 46. Unfortunately, his publicity and notoriety was not developed until after his death. However, he is now in high regards as a great 20th century author. Lovecraft struggled in poverty for most of his life. His father developed a mental disorder when he was young, causing his mother, aunt, and grandfather to take care of him. His grandfather then introduced him to Gothic tales, building his interest. When his grandfather passed in 1904, him and the rest of his family were left in a poor financial situation. This forced the family to move out of his childhood home, devastating him. Lovecraft faced many psychological issues, however, he overcame them with his love for learning. He began exploring weird fiction and was very fond of Edgar Allan Poe. This shaped his writing style and interest for his future masterpieces like The Call of Cthulhu. H.P. Lovecraft's social life also greatly influenced his writing. As mentioned before, his relationship with his grandfather emphasized his interest in weird and gothic fiction. Later, after Lovecraft was rejected from college, he became a hermit, avoiding a lot of social interaction. The social withdrawal allowed him to immerse himself in reading. During this time, he found a love story in Pulp magazine that intrigued him greatly. He eventually wrote a letter attacking the actions of the main character. This letter was published and provoked many responses, leading to a job offer by the United Amateur Press Association in 1994. This job brought back his love for fiction, and eventually he wrote The Tomb and Dagon in 1917. Politically, Lovecraft also reflected the issues of the time. The early 1900s were filled with racism, which was reflected in all of his work. The Horror at Red Hook, written by him in 1925, showed this racism. The story's main character, a white detective, finds himself in a poor neighborhood with dark-skinned monsters. This racist undertone is also found in many of his other works. Nyarlathotep, a character that appears in multiple works by Lovecraft, is also a symbol of his racism. This character portrays the racism in The Dreams in the Witch House in 1933. He is a monster-like character in the form of a black-skinned avatar of the devil. This character depicts Lovecraft's racism, which is mirrored by society at that time. Lovecraft's works are also found to have many historical components. Lovecraft started using Necronomic, a fictional textbook of magic that later appeared in other works by various writers. It first appeared in The Hound in 1922. August Derleth and Clark Austin Smith also cited it in their works. Brian Lumey's The Borrowers Beneath also contains the book. This fictional book is thought to be a real book by many readers, however, it's a myth. This was further taken in 1970 after Lovecraft's death, when a book published was meant to portray a translation for the Necronomicon. The author used a false name to publish this book, however, it sold 800,000 copies by 2006. Necromicon proves Lovecraft's historical significance in the fictional world. Lovecraft's writing fall into 6 categories: fiction, nonfiction, poetry, letters, literature, criticism, and American journalism. His most well-known and influential works today is his fiction. Supernatural Horror in Literature. An article written by Lovecraft himself stated, "The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown." Lovecraft used this fear in his stories and influenced future authors. His stories, Cool Air, In the Vault, and The Outsider, contain depictions of the living dead. These depictions influence future genres such as apocalyptic zombie fictions. The end.